The following is a Papi Chulo Radio original program. The views and opinions expressed in the commentaries and/or interviews in the following program are solely those of the individuals and are not views of Papi Chulo Radio, its parent, affiliate, or subsidiary companies.
Welcome, foolish mortals, to Horror Hotel, a PapiChuloRadio.com original series, Papi Chulo Radio, pop culture on demand. I am your host and hotel owner, Jeffrey Aruz. We're so glad you could check in. We've been dying to have you. Here on Horror Hotel, we are going to explore some of Hollywood's scariest, most frightening, and creepiest films. Please welcome my co-hosts, Concierge Supervisor Cynthia Boyede.
Hello.
Guest Services Supervisor, Donovan Trott.
Hi.
And Banquet Manager, Ramon Marquise.
Welcome, everyone.
Before we head on over to the ballroom, let's stop by the front desk where one of our bellhops has a few special announcements.
Good evening. We thank you for your patronage. Please step all the way in and make room for everyone. There's no turning back now. I didn't mean to frighten you prematurely. The real chills come later. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/PCR Horror Hotel. Follow Papi Chulo Radio on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter, and YouTube at Papi Chulo Radio. For more information on Horror Hotel, visit papichuloradio.com/Horror Hotel. Do you have any questions, suggestions, comments, or concerns? Email us via contact@papichuloradio.com. Help support Papi Chulo Radio financially by visiting gofundme.com/papichuloradio. Are you interested in joining the Papi Chulo Radio team as an on-air personality or blog contributor? Email talent@papichuloradio.com. Binge listen to your favorite Papi Chulo Radio programs by visiting papichuloradio.com/archives. You can also download tonight's broadcast and the rest of the series through iTunes. Just search for Papi Chulo Radio's Horror Hotel and subscribe. Now, grab some popcorn and some snacks. You may step into the ballroom. It's time for your feature presentation.
Thank you. It's time to fire up the film projector in our ballroom so that we can discuss 2002's Ju-On. Here's the official synopsis of the film. A mysterious and vengeful spirit marks and pursues anybody who dares enter the house in which it resides. It's very vague. Alright, so y'all know my question. Had you ever seen Ju-On before? Let's start off with Ramon.
No, I had never seen it. I have seen the Grudge numerous times, but this version I never saw.
Alright. Donovan?
No, never seen it. Familiar with the remake, never seen that either.
Boyede?
Nope, never seen it.
And neither the remake?
Just bits and pieces of those.
Okay.
Wait, no, now I'm thinking about The Ring. Is that the same thing?
No, Ring
No,
is
it's not.
Ringu.
Okay, yeah. So no, never seen it.
Okay. I had never seen Ju-On. I have seen The Grudge. I actually saw The Grudge in the movie theaters when it first came out. So, a lot of this was familiar based on my knowledge and of seeing The Grudge, like viewing The Grudge, but this version I had never seen. So let's discuss it, because this is another film that has sort of like its own mythology, or at least a mythology that we're being introduced to. You know, the idea of a vengeful spirit, and if a person dies in a particular kind of way, you know, it's like there's like a curse that's created, and it's sort of like left there to repeat itself, and anyone who gets in the curse's way basically dies. So I have a feeling that Donovan has a lot of opinions on that. So Donovan, what did you think of sort of like the curse and the introduction to this Grudge mythos?
My initial thought was that it was kind of unoriginal. Every single time there is a female ghost or spirit or entity or any sort of anything like that in a horror film, the same exact thing happened. She was murdered by somebody. She's either out for revenge or she wants to warn you or whatever. This fit so neatly into that, and I was kind of surprised, like with this being my first time having seen either this or its remake. I was expecting it to sort of be interesting or different or good in a way, because there is, I mean, we were talking about this before we came on, but like usually when films are adapted from other countries, you think, oh, this must have been a really good movie for them to say, we need to make an English version of it. But it just, like, nothing about the, you know, backstory or, you know, I mean, you don't really find out till like halfway through the movie what's really going on and like who died and what's going on. But even when that reveal was made, I was like, oh, okay, like, sure. And even at the end, I was like, oh, okay, all right, that makes sense, you know? So it just didn't do anything for me.
Okay. Well, damn.
Yes.
Cynthia, what about you? What did you think of the mythos and the whole spirits attacking the people in the house type of thing?
Yeah. Again, yeah, it's been done so many times. And like,
But Cynthia, this was 2002.
true, but still, it's been done. And I
It
hate
was
the
done in
fact that, like,
2002. It had been done in 2002.
probably, who knows? But like, I've watched many other movies like that since then. And you're right, like, I hate the fact that female ghosts never get, like, original stories. Like, I want it to be like, oh, she was a drug dealer and, like, something happened. Like,
What?
something exciting.
Drug deal gone wrong.
Like, this woman dies and she still has to take care of a child. Like, really? That's probably why she was going around killing other women. She's like, okay, now you're dead. Take care of my child, please. And that one's like, nope, bye. And so she goes kill
Toshio
another.
was very well behaved, though.
The child?
Yeah, Toshio.
It followed her everywhere. Like, really, who wants that?
It is kind of
So-
sad. Even in death, you don't get a break from being a mother.
Yeah, like, seriously.
That's true.
That's the
And
moral
then,
of the
like, when her
movie.
husband was killing her, she's like, oh, yes, finally, he gets to take care of the child. And then, no, he kills the child. He's like, go with your mom.
And the cat.
True.
Oh, yeah.
Like, seriously?
He killed a damn cat.
Well,
God.
Ramon, what about you? What'd you think of the mythos?
I mean, I felt like it was very predictable. As everyone else has stated, it was definitely not anything original. I did slightly find it entertaining, but more from like laughing at it, because I've seen The Grudge. I've seen The Grudge multiple times, and so to me, The Grudge. I don't want to get ahead of what we're going to talk about, but to me, I thought The Grudge was the quality was a lot better. So I found aspects of this movie, I find myself laughing because I'm just like, oh, this is so fake, or just the quality of it was just, to me, a lot less than The Grudge. So that's how I felt.
Do you watch a lot of Japanese TV shows?
Me, no.
Oh, okay. Because it just felt really familiar watching the movie. Because the overacting is very Japanese kind of.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
The style of acting.
Yes. I will say the mythos was interesting. Like, I had already known the mythos because I saw The Grudge, but seeing like how they presented it, I kind of thought it was neat. As far as like the actual movie, I do feel like The Grudge, the American version, was a bit scarier than this. And that's saying a lot because I didn't really think that The Grudge American version was all that scary. But it was definitely creepier and a little bit more unsettling. The movie, I mean, it tried hard to be scary, but I don't know. It was like, I was expecting a whole lot more. And all I got was,
And that wasn't even scary. I was like, throw that bitch a lozenge or something.
yes. And the croaking was a little bit creepier, maybe because I've seen the original, not the original, sorry, the American remake, that it was a little bit creepier and much more unsettling in the American version. Like, it
I
just...
think maybe they...
Why? Did it have like an American accent?
Well, no, it wasn't the accent, but maybe because I had never heard it before, and also, like, Kayako, in the American version, like, she looked much more like ghoulish and creepier and scarier, and her movements, I don't know, it just...
I think there was like CGI involved.
Maybe, I think there was a little bit of CGI involved, but for some reason the CGI worked in its favor because it looked a bit more quote-unquote real versus, like, in the original, I mean, it's clearly a woman that has had a whole lot of, like, flour caked on her body. And it just, it didn't seem as creepy. Like, I don't know what they did as far as, like, how... I'm sure it must have been CGI with, like, you know, they just colored their skin a bit more white. But it looked much more natural than, like, the heavy makeup they put on, like, all of the ghosts. Like, Toshio in the remake... He was still white, but it somehow worked a little bit more. And also Kayako, like, looked a little bit creepier. Like, I don't know. It just...
It was a mess.
There you go. So, was there anything that you felt worked from, like, the creep factor? Was there anything, like, the scene... when she was under the bed, or I mean, it's the same scene, but like when she's watching the TV and the TV is sort of like, whatever you would call what happened with the TV, or the attic scene. Was there anything that like you felt could have been considered like creepy, or maybe even just unsettling or spooky?
I mean, I like how the monster, how she was coming down the stairs. I like when she lifted up when she was laying in the bed, lifted the sheet, the thing was there, or when she was at the restaurant and it was under the table. I mean, I like those moments. I'm not going to say they scared me because they definitely didn't, but I like those moments.
I didn't like any of those moments.
Oh my gosh.
Horrible. Like the scene where the old lady is laying in the bed and she looks up and sees a ghost. She was like a smoke demon kind of. It was like weird. Like the CGI was like really bad. It was distracting how bad it was. And then she just fainted. Which is fine. That's like a realistic reaction to that. But it was just so... It was meant to scare you, to make you jump. So was the boy under the table. So were like 20 other moments in this movie, and none of them, they all fell so flat. It was like, you know, they would show something, the music, and then I'm just sitting there like, really? Like, okay, but no, I'm not scared. Sorry.
If there was anything that I felt was like really, really bad, was the security cam footage where
Yeah,
I
that
thought
was
that effect, and I will also co-sign with Donovan when the spirit was over the old lady. Like both of those were like really bad.
You know what moment could have made it okay? Was when she was in the elevator and like every floor she went up, you could see the boy. But then she comes out and nothing happens.
It's
Well,
like whatever.
Like,
He gave
like
up.
he gave up. Yes, I did like the TV thing though. I thought that was kind of neat when
Oh
the
yes.
TV morphed or whatever you want to call what happened on the TV when she paused it and it
The
just
TV was interesting. I'll say this: the creepiest part of this whole movie to me was the setup where she goes to the house and she's like supposed to be taking care of this old lady, and the old lady is like frozen and she won't talk. She's not verbal. She's pissed on the floor. And you're just thinking, what has happened here? Like, what went down? Like, not knowing what's to come was like the best part of it. Like sort of guessing, like, what's gonna happen here? What is going on with this old lady? But then as soon as this story starts to unfold, it's like, or even I'll go up until the point where she first sees Toshio and the cat. Like she goes up, she's cleaning, she goes upstairs, he's in a closet, and then you're thinking, what the hell? Why is this little boy here? What's happening? Like, it's like, it was interesting. I was like curious as to what was getting ready to happen. And then once shit started happening, I clocked out. I was like, no.
even that didn't make me and feel any kind of way. I guess because I work with older people,
aw,
old people, and so like you see that almost all the time, and I was just like,
40-year
okay,
olds.
she's just being old. 40-year-olds. Yeah.
Yeah. What about the hand that's coming out her head?
I
So
thought that was weird.
uh, all right. So I told you before we started, there were a couple of scenes because I've never seen The Grudge with Sarah Michelle Gellar, the remake, but I've seen a few of the scenes just because it's a very popular movie and stuff gets out there. That scene where Sarah Michelle Gellar is in the shower and she's like washing her hair, and then she feels this hand coming out of her head. That I thought was like super creepy. Seeing it here was just kind of like, huh? Like it was just super quick, and then it was like somebody like in the English version, the hand was reaching from out of her head. It was like coming from
Right.
out of her head. In this one, it was like somebody just like petted her head. It just like disappeared. It was just like silly to me. It just didn't. They didn't hold the moment. They didn't capture what was really scary about the moment, and it just like went by super super quick. There's an art to sort of like scaring people and making things creepy. You have to build it up. You have to like execute, then linger maybe a little bit longer. Like this was just kind of like, oh, was that do I got a bug in here with me? Like it was just nothing.
And she's scared really easily too.
Very
Oh
easy.
yeah, you could scare the hell out of her
Yeah.
in no time.
Well, would you
Right.
not be scared if you had that bitch staring at you when you were asleep and you got the cat boy in the bed?
No.
Oh, okay.
He's like,
So what is she staring at? No.
Like she's
I'm like,
just
oh,
looking at you. I'd be like,
right.
oh yeah, I'm using Fenty foundation. You can get it here.
Lord with the Fenty.
Your eyeliner looks a little like iffy. Let's do a makeover right now. Get you some color in there.
she went overboard with the eyeliner.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That is true though.
She was excited for her Fenty eyeliner.
Yeah.
Lord. What about the I don't even know what you would call it. The subplot with the daughter.
Izumi?
Yes, and the friends
All right,
that
so this confused me. So
Okay.
we see the same detective with a little girl at first, but he doesn't say her name. So I was unclear as to whether or not he had two daughters or this was the same girl but grown up. Because nothing else changed with the passage of time. Like, Rika was still the same age.
I think
assuming
that was a
she crossed at the same
flashback.
time.
Because
There was nothing to indicate it was a flashback, so I was
I
confused.
know. The thing with the American Grudge is told non-linearly. It's like all over the place as well. Like there are flashbacks and even flasher flashbacks from like even way more in the past. So they don't really explain as well like what's going on until like later in the movie, if I'm remembering the movie correctly, and Ramon can correct me if I'm wrong. So
Sure.
that was, I think, a flashback because Toyama,
The detective?
yeah, ended up seeing like what had happened with Izumi and her friends, because her friends were killed by Kayako, and
Right.
Toyama witnessed that. So,
Well, yeah, but that... All right, so... All right, so I'm trying to follow the
because he ends up dying when he tries to burn the house down, and then I think that the rest of like what we see afterwards is a flashback, right? Or how did you all interpret that?
I didn't know how to.
Okay.
I don't think I thought it was a flashback, but it was kind of like what's going on.
I mean, a flashback makes sense, but all right, so they show him, he's with his daughter, she's little. Then they cut to him viewing footage of the ghost in the hospital, and then he goes to the house, tries to burn it down, sees his daughter, Izumi, but she's grown up with her friends, and then they cut away. And then next time we see him, he's trying to burn the house down, and the two cops come, and he runs out the house. And that's the last we saw him, or I think that's the last we saw him. And then when we cut to Izumi seeing him again, she says, "I saw you in the house." So it's like time is taking place in all these different ways. It's like he's seeing her in the future, but he's in the past, and she's seeing him in the present, but he's in the past, but he thinks he's seeing the future. It was bullshit. It was crazy.
Maybe they were in the woods with the Blair Witch.
It was a mess.
Oh, Lord.
It was a mess at every turn. But to get to Izumi, I actually liked her. I thought she was, well, first of all, the actress is gorgeous. I actually Googled her. She's really, really pretty. I thought it was interesting that they were taking the approach of trying to like tell the same story from like other places. I thought like maybe if they intertwined in an interesting way, it could add something to the film. They didn't, and it didn't. So it was just kind of a waste. And even the scene where the father is watching as the girls, like Izumi runs out of the room. And when they show you that, they don't even set it up so you don't know what's happening. Like, why are they in this house? Why are they chilling in this room like this? But then later on, she says, "Oh, my friend said the house was haunted, so we should just stop by and just, like, check it out, I guess." And then they were there. She got scared. She left. Her friends were, like, gossiping about her for some reason because she was like, "Fuck this, I'm out." And then they all die. But you don't see that. It doesn't sound right coming out my mouth because it's not right. It's weird.
It's not right, but it's
movie.
okay.
It's not okay, though. It's a bad movie.
Well, damn.
It's a mess.
I thought the friends' ghosts, like, they looked weird. They looked like I don't know. It was almost like, they visited the local Hot Topics and they
Oh, they were all very cute. They were cute little
They,
Japanese girls and
yes.
very fashion forward. I thought they were interesting. But yeah, the subplot was like it just did nothing for me. I'm not sure why it was added in because they just killed her anyway. So it's like it didn't add any flavor to the film. Like if they were going to intertwine it in some interesting way, that would have been cool. Like maybe she ran into Rika and they were like, "Oh, this happened to you and this is what's happening to me," and blah blah blah. But they never even met.
Yeah. Her death was kind of neat because of like how it happened though. Because she just gets she gets like sucked into Narnia basically.
That wasn't
Pretty much.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. That was weird. So Rika
and her wig.
and her wig.
It was clearly a wig at certain places. In the beginning, it wasn't a wig, but I guess it had reshoots, and her hair must have changed or whatever. So there were a couple of scenes there where they put that bob wig on her, and I was just like,
Yeah, the part was different.
The part was completely different. You couldn't see any root. It was clearly a wig.
Yeah. Did we think she was going to survive?
I mean, just because I saw, the other movie, I didn't think she was going to survive.
SMG didn't die at the end of The Grudge. Not to spoil it for people.
Well, no, not so much her. I just didn't feel as if how things were gonna go. I said she's not gonna survive. She's too scary. Like I think Cynthia said, she's scared so easily. This heifer won't go make it.
But did you think she was gonna die the way that she died? Because Kayako didn't kill her.
I wouldn't say that I expected her to die the way she died, the way she did necessarily, but I definitely was like, she gonna die before this movie's over.
Okay. What about everybody else? Were you surprised that it wasn't Kayako that killed her, that it was Takeo?
You throwing out these names like I know these people.
Oh, gosh. Kayako is the wife. Takeo is the husband that murders the wife.
Right.
And how the whole curse ended up happening.
They gave
you knew Izumi.
Who?
Oh, my gosh.
I know who the little boy is. They gave away her death actually during the girls' storyline. During Izumi's storyline, the TV is playing when she comes into the house, and the announcer over the television. And the only reason I noticed this was because of the subtitles. And they said a 23-year-old girl named Rika was found dead, blah, blah, blah. So I assume they wanted us to know. But that also fucks up the timeline.
Okay. So that means that was the future?
Huh?
Now I'm confused. That means that was the future?
Yeah. So it was just like, huh? Like, if you go back and watch it with the subtitles, because I rewound it, and I was like, what did they say? 23-year-old Rika, they gave her whole name, was found dead, and there were no signs of blah, 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 whatever. So I was just like, okay, so now this takes place after that, or were they? All right, so Rika ends up being the ghost that's killing everybody. So I'm like, are they talking about her dying the first time? Because if that's the case, why aren't they talking about her son too? But then it seemed like they were just talking about her dying the second time, which would mean everything with Izumi happened after that, which also don't make no damn sense. Like, I don't mind you playing with the narrative. Like, if anybody here watches Westworld, like, they play with the narrative of that show. Like, there are parts happening in the past. There's parts happening now. There's parts happening, in the future. And they mix it up so you don't really know what's happening when. But it all sort of fits together really, really neatly. This was just throwing a bunch of shit at you and not really sort of refining it in any way. It just didn't, it felt manipulative, like they were mishandling the audience.
Cynthia, you have been conspicuously quiet.
Yeah, I didn't figure out it was him who would be doing the killing at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought she'd probably die of a heart attack first.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Cynthia, they don't die like that in horror movies.
true. But like she scared herself so much that you're like, okay.
She did
Especially like,
literally scare herself. She was scaring herself
Mhm.
yeah.
because she was the ghost, which also makes no sense.
Wait,
Yeah, it's like
no.
trying
I
to
don't
like
think...
extend
No,
it.
I think
What?
Kayako was the ghost, but I feel
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Kayako... Because it's like the curse ends up repeating, so she ends up becoming the new Kayako. I
Which makes no
think
sense.
that's what happens.
Wait, so does that mean that now she's the mother of this child?
Yes.
The child always
Yes,
needs a
it's taken her
mother,
time forever.
Cynthia.
Yeah, because like at the end, what's her name? Kayako like disappears, but Rika can still see the child and the husband.
So I mean, she's got a husband now.
Yeah, and a child. Wow, poor woman.
It just needed to be more clear what was happening. Like, I don't need you to spell things out to me, but at least give me all the puzzle pieces so I could put it together myself, you know? I felt like there was a lot held back here.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And they
See,
gave us a lot of useless information.
like, what would you say?
Just like, I don't know, like, why did I need to know about the schoolgirls dying? Like, there was no real connection. It was just like, oh yeah, and these schoolgirls tried to go there and they died. Like, okay.
Well, I think that even though it was very random and I don't know if it was necessarily needed, but I think they were using that storyline to sort of show that the curse lives on no matter what, and like whoever fucks with the house basically ends up dying. I think.
Mm.
Mhm.
Which is, it's been done, is essentially what I'm saying.
Well, damn.
It has been. It's been done.
You know what I had a problem with was I can't remember the name of the guy who falls down the stairs.
Oh, the detective?
Yes.
I
Yeah.
don't remember his name.
Yeah, and then he's crawling, right? And I'm like, those stairs weren't like you fell down like 4, 5 steps. You're fine, get up. And then these two other guys come in, and he miraculously is okay enough to run before them. And they're just like sitting there like, oh, we can't move. I'm like, you didn't even fall down the 4 steps that guy fell down. So what's your problem now?
Right.
It's a very hard floor.
Another
Seriously?
thing,
Like,
they didn't show how the ghost killed people. Like, it would just like, I guess it scared them to death. Is that
Yeah,
No,
like-
that would be the ring.
Well, all right. So how did it kill the old lady? Because all we saw was the.
Well, she was
smoke
fragile
ghost.
already.
All right. So how did it kill all these other people though? Because they
I
never
don't
showed
know.
bodies. They never showed like what it was doing to people.
Strangulation.
it petrified them.
Witchcraft.
Witchcraft.
Black magic.
They probably put her greasy hair in their mouths, and they're just like, I can't
Oh
move.
God.
They choked on the hair, on the greasy hair.
Right.
Good grief. Well, that's a visual. So, the croaking.
You just like doing that.
I know. But what did y'all think of the croaking?
I mean,
Was it effective? Was it unsettling? Or was it just like, please stop doing it?
Or maybe
I
it
mean-
was like, go on.
I think if certain parts of the movie had been executed better, then yeah, it probably would have been effective. But every time I heard, I'm like, oh, okay, here go this shit again.
Here comes that bitch.
I mean, like, all right. So like I said, I didn't watch the whole remake, but I did see one scene where that noise was being made, and it sounded kind of like they sweetened it up a bit. Like maybe they rustled up some paper, or they broke some twigs and sort of laid that sound over it, so it sounded more, unhuman. But here you could tell it was just the actress just like, Like, it was not scary
at all.
Yeah.
Is it scary when I do it?
No.
No.
Oh. Well.
You know what? It would have been more scary if they
Tell me.
only used it at parts where the person was sure to die. Because it
Yes.
sounded like someone taking their final moments, their like last breath. So it would have made more sense if like you're sure to die and let me
Mhm.
take these final moments with you.
Yeah, I agree. That'd have been a cool way to use it.
Let me choke you with my hair.
Yeah.
Good grief. So the film ends with Rika dead, and I'm taking it to mean that she is now continuing on with the curse.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Who cares?
No.
I don't care.
Rika, she was a nice
I was
lady.
just happy it was over.
Oh my God.
Lord, poor Rika. She got a better wig, though, in the afterlife.
What's it matter?
Okay.
It looked nicer.
Yeah, I guess.
It was more laid.
It was from the Sherry Shepherd wig collection.
Eh.
Probably had better moisturizer.
Yeah. It was, even though she was literally a corpse at that point. And what was the thing with the covering your eyes? Like,
I don't know what they thought that was supposed to do.
what was that?
Oh,
If
maybe.
I can't see you, you can't
Maybe.
hurt me.
I'm reaching. But you know, like when you cover your eyes and then you open it a little bit and like the thing that scares you is like right there. I was reaching. I don't know what I was trying to do. I was trying to save the movie. I failed.
Gosh. If there's anything that I feel like worked really well, because the whole elevator thing, because I saw it in the remake, and so that wasn't like, ooh, but I really liked, and it was very small, when she walked by the mirror and Kayako was her reflection.
Yeah.
I did like that moment.
Interesting.
I thought that was kind of neat.
Mm-hmm.
Kinda.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Kind is the word. And I did think she looked good, though, after she was dead. Like, her hair was laid for the gods in the afterlife. Yeah.
You probably got a better makeup person than Kayako did.
Well, she was cute, as, except for the eyes, but she got, like, the blood smears, but what can you do? You can't be perfect in death.
True.
Especially if you're a vengeful spirit ready to kill the next person that moves in.
I stand by my thing that the actual curse was just like trying to find the next person to be a wife and a mother.
Oh my gosh.
That's what the curse was.
Meow.
I feel like you're bringing your personal baggage into the plot of the film.
Yes, Cynthia.
Oh, mercy.
Wow.
I mean, it's reading that way to me.
No, I'm just being realistic.
Well, so let's check to see if Ju-on has won any awards. And it has.
Lord Jesus.
It's a fire. In 2002 at Scream Fest, it won the festival trophy Best Foreign Film. And in 2005, it was nominated for a Saturn Award, Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror Films, for Best DVD Release. And over on Rotten Tomatoes, I don't know if it's because maybe it's a foreign film or something, but it doesn't have an official critics certification. But as far as like the users, the Rotten Tomatoites, or whatever they want to call themselves, it's 62% fresh.
It's not that fresh.
Well, it's fresher than... I don't know.
You don't even know.
I don't even know. I really don't. All right, but we can hand out our own awards because I think our awards actually count a little bit more, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree.
So, who was the diva?
I'll say Izumi, the teenage version of the girl.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go with that one.
Scream Queen.
Did anyone scream in this movie?
No,
Rika
there-
did. A couple of times, I think.
But it was like, oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
What about a special award just for this film? The Croak Queen.
Rika's friend at the end, when she was in the house, she screamed a bit. Like as she was being drugged into the shadows.
Oh yeah, with her friends.
The Croak Queen.
Girl. Yeah, Rico going to Croak.
No, not Rika. Kayako.
Karaoke, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
But they're the same things.
Oh gosh. The Mickey Rooney Award for Excellence in Child Acting.
What's his
I
name
guess
for you?
I guess the bastard that was up in the closet and stuff.
Toshio.
He didn't do much
Yeah.
the whole movie then.
Meow. The creepiest moment.
I guess when she was at for me, when she lifted up, what you call that shit? The tablecloth at the restaurant, the bastard was under the table.
Okay.
I think
For
it'd be
me-
under the covers. Just because, like, if you want to see someone under the covers, it's not that kind of person.
Oh my gosh.
This little dead child.
Oh no, that was Kayako under the covers.
Oh, well, she might be any. Hey, don't
Yeah,
judge.
she might got that good tongue action.
Oh God.
Okay.
We all know she knows how to keep her mouth open.
Mercy.
That croak.
Oh God.
That croak might feel good. I'm just
A
saying.
lot of vibration.
Yeah, it's vibration. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. The best usage of a cheesy special effect.
None. The CGI was horrible. Unless that croak was a special effect.
Oh gosh. I'm gonna say the TV.
Mm.
Yes.
The
I feel like I could do that with an app on my phone then.
Probably.
But maybe not in 2002.
Oh, okay.
One.
Well, thank
Maybe
you,
not.
Cynthia. Even though you were demanding a lot about a movie from 2002.
Well, what can I say?
Well, how dare you demand to be scared by a scary movie?
I know, right? The moment that made you gag.
Nothing.
For Donovan, it was the wig change.
Eh,
What the hell? So hold on, because her hair got longer, does that mean she is Kayako now?
You were the one that was saying that she was her all the damn time. Now you're
You
just...
were the one that was saying that it wasn't her.
Yeah, she's the new Kayako. She's Kayako 2.0. She's got
So
a
it's the same
Windows
person?
2000 in her now.
So is she the same person, or did she take over like? Never.
Where was Donovan 10 minutes ago? Cynthia says that the point of the movie is to find a new wife and a child, so she's the new wife and mother, or whatever.
Oh Lord.
Anyway.
Yeah. What was the I can't believe I just saw that moment? The entire movie.
Bro, yeah.
Well, not for me. I just didn't find anything that I feel that way about.
Ramon was like, where the hell was Sarah Michelle Gellar?
Oh my God. It really made me want to go see that version so I can get this version out my head.
Oh, wow. Wow.
I would say the moment where she gets into the house and she's like assessing the way the old lady is living and she sees the piss on the floor. I'm like, what? But other than that,
Well, now it's time to rank the film in our special categories. To refresh our memory, we got Screamer for films that are filled with scares, Gutbuster, films that are grotesque, Eye Popper, films that are visually impressive, Gravedigger, films that lack scares, and The Mind Blower for overall best in show. And because I have the feeling that he's just itching to say what he has to say, Ramon, you may go first.
Oh my God, whatever. So it was disappointing in comparison to The Grudge. I really liked The Grudge.
You're also biased for SMG.
What?
You're also biased for SMG?
Oh Lord. I do quite enjoy her, yes. However, with this movie, it was a lot of parts as far as just the storyline and how they could have brought it together that I feel like a lot of points were missed. It could have been so much better. I feel like it had the potential to be really good, but oh my God, I gotta give it a Gravedigger.
Well, there's only one way to go from here, and that's up, maybe. Cynthia?
You know what? Just because it inspired something better they probably watched the movie and they're like, okay, these are all the points that they missed and let's do it better. So for that reason, I don't want to, but I'll give it a mind blower.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh.
Yeah, because
Kayako will not visit you tonight, Cynthia,
yeah,
unlike
there's
someone
like
else.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because it's either that or a grave digger, but it did do
It could
something
be
different.
both.
Okay, so both of them. Yeah, I give it both.
You can mix and match. Donovan.
I'm going to give it, obviously, a Gravedigger because it wasn't scary worth a damn. But I'm going to add on to that, not a screamer. I'm going to give it a fake-ass screamer because it clearly wanted to be one of those movies that, something pops out at you and you're scared or, it just did not do that. None of the scares were scary. Not the ghost on top of the lady, not the kid under the table, not the room full of cats. What the hell was that? Why were there 20 cats while she was sleeping? Like, what? None of this was scary. Like, none of it at all. And it so badly wanted to be one of those movies, and it just was not. And that croak wasn't scary either. It was a fake-ass screamer. And it was a gravedigger. And it was a bad movie.
Bum bum ba-dum. All right. I'm going to give it... I'm going to do a Boyede. It is definitely a gravedigger for me because it was not scary. And I was hoping for so much in regards to scares. Because it's like Japanese horror, and you always hear about Japanese horror being scary as fuck and all this kind of stuff. And maybe because it was 2002, maybe they hadn't gotten their Japanese horror game, like, on point back then. I don't know. But it wasn't scary. And I do remember The Grudge, a.k.a. the American version, a.k.a. the one that stars Sarah Michelle Gellar. That was creepy. Like, it had the sense of, like, creepy, foreboding, suspense, because you were wondering what the hell is going on. And I do remember the croaking was creepier in The Grudge. So I don't know what was going on in the original, unfortunately. And I will give it a mind blower as well, just because it did spawn several sequels in Japan, and it spawned a franchise here in the US, although I hear that like the quality like kept on going down with each additional Grudge. But what can you do? I mean, you can only do this one or two.
You can stop making them.
Well, there you go. And it will also get a mind blower because in Japan, they did like a Freddy versus Jason thing with Kayako and I forget the name of the Japanese version of The Ring girl. Like they did a Grudge versus Ring movie.
I wouldn't even know who to root for with that mess.
I know, right? So the concept is like crazy. But you have, like, the Grudge ghost and the Ring ghost fighting each other, I guess. Or, like, trying to kill the people that live in the house. I forget the concept. I know that I read the synopsis at some point. But I think, like, a family moves into a house that has the Grudge curse. And then, like, one of them sees...
Watches the video.
The Ring tape. And so I guess they're fighting each other to see who's going to kill these people. Something like that, which sounds crazy, and it's probably much more funny than it is scary, but it still sounds like something I have to watch at some point. Yeah, I think the Ring is Sadako in Japanese.
Well, what
maybe.
was the girl in the Rings? What's her power? I'm trying to remember that.
She kills you after you watch the tape. 7 days later, she pops through the TV and kills you.
Well, I mean, Kayoko did not wait. She just killed these bitches. So how you gonna fight when you already have like a big ass Achilles heel? You can't do anything for a week.
I know. You have to
They'll
pop
be
out
dead.
over 7 days. Yeah.
The movie will be over.
Yeah, and for those out there that are listening that are curious, it's called Sadako versus Kayako. So, if you're interested in seeing it, it might as well.
2 hours of your life.
I know. 98 minutes to be exact. But so for all of that, I will give it a mind blower. And although it's like a tepid mind blower, it's really only getting the mind blower based on the legacy. Now it's time to rate the film on a 1 to 10 hotel room key scale. The point system is allowed, and Donovan, you may go first.
2. No points.
He was ready with that one.
It wasn't original. It wasn't scary. It wasn't creative. It was confusing as all hell. The acting was bad. Special effects were horrible. Rico's wig was a mess until the last minute of the movie. I can keep going. I could really shred this movie, but I give it the 2 because of things that they tried that didn't work, like the non-linear storytelling. If they had done that appropriately, I could see that. Just the idea that this house exists and all these different people have these different intertwining stories about going there, and then somebody dies, and then that leads into this next story, and blah, blah, blah. They didn't execute that well at all, but it was an interesting idea. In the first 12 minutes, I thought was interesting before they really started getting into it. But then after that, it was just downhill. So 2.
Okay. And just a quick pause to fill the listeners in. No. The storyline for Sadako versus Kayako is apparently some kids as in teens, end up seeing the Ring video. And so that the curse doesn't happen to them, they decide to pit another vengeful spirit against Sadako, and that's when they learn about Kayako, and it sounds like a hot mess. But
that sounds worse than what we came up with.
Yes, I know. Ours was good, right? Donovan, go make it. You're a filmmaker.
No.
Okay. Ramon, how would you rate the film?
I'll say 4.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. Explain yourself.
I mean, for first off, all the reason why I gave it Gravedigger, but I don't know. I guess more so because of the potential that it could have had, and because there were certain moments that I liked. Not that they were, effective at all, but they were just certain moments that I liked, and I saw where it could have gone. So yeah, that's why I gave it a 4 versus anything less.
Oh, you're judging Donovan?
No, I'm just saying.
Oh, okay.
Had it not had moments that I did kind of like, I probably would have gave it like a 1 or 2.
Oh, well.
Oh, he's trying to start drama.
It's fun. Cynthia?
I would give it a 5.
Oh.
Yeah. It did well with, the idea behind it was pretty cool. Execution was a fail. But then I also, I watch a bit of Japanese horror films and, TV shows. So I recognized a lot of the things that they did. And I was like, oh, okay, that's normal for, Japanese films and stuff. So I think I watched it with an already formed appreciation for Japanese film and storytelling.
Okay. And I think I'm going to give it... I think I'll go with a 6. Ooh. It's going to get an additional point because of The Grudge, the American version. Seeing this and then, having seen The Grudge and then seeing this, I can see directly where they got certain things. And although I feel like it was executed a little bit better in The Grudge, because this is the original, I'll give it a 6. I agree with all of you. I mean, it wasn't scary. I thought the mythos was more interesting than I think some of you thought it was, so I I guess it gets an additional point because of that as well. And yeah, I mean, pretty much that. Just the mythos of the film being sort of interesting, and seeing the connections and what the Grudge was inspired by. So, on that note, please drag your bodies away from the ballroom and prepare to check out. Join us next time for a brand new installment of Horror Hotel. Once again, here's one of our bellhops with a few special announcements.
Good evening. We thank you for your patronage. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/PCR Horror Hotel. Follow Panpichulo Radio on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter, and YouTube, at Panpichulo Radio. For more information on Horror Hotel, visit panpichuloradio.com/Horror Hotel. Do you have any questions, suggestions, comments, or concerns? Email us via contact@panpichuloradio.com. Help support Panpichulo Radio financially by visiting gofundme.com/panpichuloradio. Are you interested in joining the Panpichulo Radio team as an on-air personality or blog contributor? Email talent@panpichuloradio.com. Binge listen to your favorite Panpichulo Radio programs by visiting panpichuloradio.com/archives. You can also download tonight's broadcast and the rest of the series through iTunes. Just search for Panpichulo Radio's Horror Hotel, and subscribe. We hope you've brought your death certificate. Make final arrangements now.
Thank you, my fellow Horror Hotel team. Please wish our hotel guests and the listeners a good night.
Until next time, take care.
Good night.
Gayako got him. Thanks for tuning in. You may have checked into the Horror Hotel, but who says you're allowed to check out? Good night.